This is a severe weather alert from your ArcLemis Storm Team.
Good afternoon, NBC 10 Fox 14 Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd alongside meteorologist Lexi Birmingham, meteorologist Brian Briggs in the Weather Center. Louisiana Living will not be seen today on Fox 14 as our first tornado warning of the day has just been issued. This does include a number of parishes in northwestern Louisiana, including the western sections of Bienville Parish. And this is a storm that has really started to kind of wrap up and provide a possible tornadic circulation in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. Technically, the possible tornado as it stands right now is technically outside of our viewing area, but will be entering probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And this is a storm that has at times, like I said, started to show more vigorous rotation. I want to take the lightning off the screen just for a little bit so you can see the circulation in its more vigorous capacity. And obviously, we're looking for a tornado in this area right here. It's just now east of I-49. So again, to give you a vantage point where this is in the ArcLemis, it's still west of our area. So it still has, I would say, at least another 30, 40 miles to go before it enters southwestern sections of Bienville Parish. But clearly, a dangerous storm that has warranted the tornado warning that is issued for these areas. Looking at the National Weather Service in Shreveport's velocity modes, and this is the radar that's going to have the best look at this storm, at least here in the short term. This is our possible tornado right here. Will be moving northeast. You can see Ringgold and Hall Summit are included in this tornado warning. So if you're in these areas, proper tornado precautions are needed now. Interior portion of your home away from windows and doors. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A tornado watch is in effect for most of the western, say, 2/3 of the ArcLemis until I believe 8 o'clock tonight. So we've got a long way to go with additional watches and potential warnings perhaps needed as we work through the rest of the afternoon. At times also, as I zoom back out just a little bit, we've seen other areas that have indicated possible gusty wind signatures and things of that nature. But overall, the severe thunderstorm threat so far for our area has been relatively low. We had one severe thunderstorm warning, I believe, for Ouachita, Bradley, and Calhoun counties earlier this afternoon. That storm has now moved well into central sections of Arkansas. But you can see the broken line of thunderstorms as they've materialized over the last several hours, looking much more healthy and much more mature in the last 30 to 40 minutes. As they're starting to kind of take advantage of the environment that's in place. You know, we do have the live storm tracker Doppler radar in a certain radar mode. We've changed our volume coverage patterns on that radar so we can see any possible rotation with that particular radar. But this storm is still on the outer fringes of the ArcLemis. Will be moving into western sections of Bienville Parish shortly. For those that were expecting to see Fox 14, Louisiana Living on Fox 14 again, if you're just joining us, first tornado warning of the day has been issued. We do expect this severe weather threat to extend well into northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas through the next several hours, and that's why the tornado watch is in effect. This is April in the ArcLemis. A cold front advancing through is almost always going to bring a severe weather threat this month. In fact, we'll have another severe weather threat on Friday, and we'll talk about that more as we get closer to it. But as we see these segments of this line move east, these are the kinds of circulations that will be somewhat concerning over the next few hours. It is kind of a broken line of storms. So we call this a quasi-linear system, a quasi-linear convective system. So it's kind of a line, it's kind of not, where we have these clusters of storms that are developing along the front as it surges east. Well, within that, we still have some favorable winds, especially in the low levels of the atmosphere, and those winds are strengthening, which will support some periodic embedded circulations within that broken line that will continue to move east as we head through the rest of the evening. Now, if there is one positive takeaway from the overall tornado threat as we work through the next several hours, it's the fact that quite frankly, it should be gone by around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. So we expect the severe weather threat to really wane as we work later on into the nighttime hours. So this will not be a prolonged threat that extends well into the late night time frame. That's the one little piece of good news. But as you take a look back at this tornado-warned storm, you see another area of rotation a little bit closer to western Bienville Parish. We'll keep an eye on that, at least here in the short term. Here's our tornado-warned storm. Again, is still now northwest of Coshada and west of Martin, and we'll be moving into, here's southwestern Bienville Parish. So here's the Bienville Parish line. And again, it kind of juts up into Webster Parish and surrounding areas. There's an area of rotation, too, that has also been concerning, at least here in the last 15 minutes or so, as you're starting to see some of these stronger wind signatures within the clusters of storms as they move east. There's our possible tornado, reds and greens combining together in that area. And this is a storm that's just now started to try to get going here in the last 20 to 30 minutes. So maybe not a fully mature thunderstorm, if you will, at this hour. And again, another area of rotation in this area right here. In fact, I want to switch over to the shear for just a second. And yeah, you can see shear is, and there's our new tornado warning for that area as well. So now we have 2 tornado warnings, and the tornado warning that's just been issued includes much more of Bienville Parish. So now 2 different tornado warnings.
Also Claiborne as well.
Okay, so far southwestern portions of Claiborne Parish is under that tornado warning. So you see the shear markers. Very strong shear circulation showing the twisting of the winds that'll be moving into western sections of Bienville Parish probably in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And then the other area of twisting strong winds moving generally to the north and east, or the east-northeast, and we'll be moving into southwestern sections of Bienville Parish as well. So count them, 2 tornado warnings now in effect for Bienville Parish. The first one goes until 5 o'clock. The second one goes until 5:15. So clearly, this is going to be an area of concern, at least here in the short term, for these areas. When take it off the shear, shear is a product that is very beneficial for us, but for folks at home, it may be a little bit more convoluted into what it really gives our area in terms of context with these storms. You can really see the stronger inflow with these that area on the southern edge. And I'm going to switch back over to storm relative velocities again. Tornado 1. Tornado 2 moving into portions of Bienville Parish. For folks downstream, we're talking areas like Ruston, Grambling, up toward Homer. These are all areas that will have to keep an eye on these storms, at least here in the short term. Be prepared to act quickly if a warning is issued for your area. So again, this will be a threat that likely extends at least through the next 3 or 4 hours for much of the ArkLaMiss, so please be weather aware. Tornado watches were in effect for a reason. This is an enhanced risk day for most of the ArkLaMiss, and so zooming out again, just to give us an overall perspective of what we're running into right now. Clearly a dangerous situation that is going to continue to unfold across the ArkLaMiss as we head through the next few hours. Lexi.
Yes, so again, these are the first 2 tornado warnings we have seen so far for this late afternoon. Again, like Jared mentioned, we did have severe thunderstorm warning very early on around 2 o'clock for Ouachita, Calhoun, and Bradley counties. That has since been canceled. Now our main focus is on this line of showers and storms that have been producing some very indications of some possible rotation. So again, these are radar indicated tornadoes. These are not confirmed, but still treat it as a possible tornado. You need to get to your safe places, whether it's an interior room, a bathroom with no windows, or a closet. Make sure you grab pillows and blankets. Also make sure you grab your family and your pets as well. So now, like we mentioned, we do have 2 tornado warnings. The one that just includes the far western portion of Bienville Parish that will continue until 5 o'clock, and the one that was issued for more portions of Bienville Parish, the Claiborne Parish, that continues until about 5:15. Both of these storms are moving at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So again, you can see the really dark reflectivity on this map here. So anything that you see outside is most likely going to be rain wraps. So please stay inside. Do not go outdoors to try and see this. So let's go ahead and click on a radar product here with Shreveport. Let's go back to velocity, storm relative velocity, because that can show us the rotation just a little bit better. So yeah, this is the main focus we're having on. Those greens and those reds kind of mixing together, indicating that rotation, which is a small little area of concern for the one that includes larger portions of Bienville Parish and in Claiborne Parish as well. So these are the 2 active tornado warnings that we do have at this time, and we're going to be watching that very closely. Pulling up the shear real quick, and we'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit more so we can see this just a little bit better. Wrong button. There we go. So yeah, you can see those stronger winds associated with the one that only includes that western portion of Bienville Parish, and we are starting to see a little bit more of those stronger winds for the one that does include Claiborne Parish as well. And again, shear is how the differ in different levels of the atmosphere. So again, when you think of shear, think of like winds coming out of the northeast at the surface, but then eventually as you go a little bit higher, they come out of the north, and eventually out of the northwest. They kind of change in direction as you go higher in the atmosphere. That's basically what wind shear is. Pulling up velocity once again. Again, we're seeing that red and green combination. Starting to see a little bit more of that red and green off towards the one in Claiborne, that one that includes Claiborne Parish as well. So again, we'll continue to watch this over the next several minutes here. And again, this is very heavy rainfall associated with it too. So any kind of rotation is most likely going to be wrapped in the rainfall. So again, this is not the time to go outside and see if you could see anything. You need to be in your safe places. And of course, that includes folks that are going to be downwind of the system. And these two warnings do include, I believe it's 371, Highway 371. So if you know anyone, or if you yourself are going to be heading that way anytime soon, stay off the roads till then. Or if you do know anyone that's on those roads, make sure that they do pull over into a parking lot, a gas station, or grocery store, and make sure that they do head inside until these storms pass. Because again, we do have 2 tornado storm warnings at this time.
Lexi,
go ahead, Brian.
Just want to pass this along. This is in Bossier Parish, but apparently the cell that's southeast of Bossier, they did have a TDS at one point. So the one that's in southeast Bossier Parish looks like it was showing a TDS.
So what Brian is talking about, a TDS, it stands for Tornado Debris Signature. And basically that just means they detected something that is normally not supposed to be in the air. It could be dust, it could be dirt, it could be twigs, it could be, anything. Anything that's not supposed to be in the air. So that's what what we call a tornado debris signature basically means, TDS for short. So again, I just want to show you too how much lightning is associated with these storms as well. So that indicates that it is getting a little bit strong out there as well. So real quick, we'll kind of go over what we're currently seeing right now. A lot of folks now most likely tuning in. Unfortunately, we are covering up Louisiana Living, but right now we do have 2 active tornado warnings if you're joining in with us. And again, you're going to hear a lot of lather, rinse, repeat with this information because a lot of people are going to tune in at different times, and we want to make sure that everybody gets the latest information. So the first tornado warning that was issued that made us cut in on air did include western portions of Bienville Parish, and the other one does include bigger portions of Bienville Parish and Claiborne Parish that continues until 5:15.
All right, Lexi, we're going to get you a new microphone, and we'll get you squared away here in just a second. But to recap for folks that are just joining us, it's about 4:38 in the afternoon. We've had 2 tornado warnings pop up rather quickly. Brian is here. Brian's also kind of off camera. He's working Links 1. We're also going to kind of set up a different station over at the Weather Pod, so we'll have kind of 2 different areas we kind of keep an eye on storms simultaneously from 2 different parts of the Weather Center. So we'll get to there and get to Brian in just a minute. Here is your shear and areas of rotation moving into western sections of Bienville Parish, and eventually we'll be clipping into southern portions of Claiborne Parish as well. This is southern Webster Parish. Actually, excuse me, this is Webster Parish right here. So again, to give you a better perspective of some of the storms. No, there's Webster Parish, Bossier Parish, Webster Parish. They all look very similar. But again, here's Claiborne Parish right here, Homer. You can also see some sheared areas on the leading edge moving into eastern sections of Bienville Parish. But again, shear doesn't necessarily point out tornadoes. It just points out changing of wind speeds and wind direction. And we have to kind of watch how all of these different signatures and these different features that we see on radar, how they change with every radar scan. So this is going to be a kind of a routine thing that's going to happen as we head through the rest of the evening for these tornado-warned storms as they develop. You can see, and it's a lot easier when you look at the storm relative velocities. You can see the leading edge of the stronger winds, and then they curl back in this central section of the warning polygon to the north. Same story here. You have the gusty wind signature, this big, almost green line before it turns to gray, and then it just notches in, and that's where the winds are kind of blowing into this storm, feeding it that warm, moisture-rich air, and it allows for these storms to continue to just kind of build and recirculate and really ventilate themselves rather efficiently. So there are 2 different warned storms that will be entering western Bienville Parish, but I want to also zoom out quickly to kind of give a better perspective perspective of some of the areas that could be downstream potentially from these storms. Jonesboro Hodge, keep an eye on them. I would generally think the track would carry them to your north, but the Quitman areas, Ruston, Grambling, keep an eye on all of this. Any interests between, say, Ruston and Arcadia along I-20, this northernmost storm could start approaching your area too. So just kind of be aware of the surrounding conditions in these particular areas. Going back over to reflectivity mode, I think this really kind of drives the point home for a lot of folks. You see these reds and greens on the radar screen from sometimes, and it's really difficult to kind of discern what is what. But this is obviously a menacing cluster of storms, and the red flashing boxes should get your attention. Possible tornado here, possible tornado somewhere in this general vicinity, both moving and will be entering the Arklamis and entering our viewing area in the next 10 minutes or so. So again, westernmost sections of Bienville Parish, I-20 points southward, far southwestern reaches. I mean the far southwestern tip of Claiborne Parish also included in this northernmost tornado warning. But that one goes till 5:15. This southernmost one goes until 5. And the way this storm looks right now and the way it's moving off to the east, I wouldn't be surprised that a new tornado warning would likely be needed with that. Brian's also, like I said, manning our other link system, and he's over at the pod. He also has storm reports coming in front of him, so he can kind of keep an eye on that. Brian, what do you see so far?
Well, what I just want to pass along is that National Weather Service says a new TDS, or tornado debris signature, now showing up near Westdale in Red River Parish, which is still outside of our area, but just kind of gives you an idea of these storms. They're really picking up intensity rather quickly across the area. So looks like, now a new tornado warning has been issued for Bienville, Bossier, Caddo, DeSoto, Red River parishes, which again, Bienville is the only one in our area, but this is for an observed tornado. Confirmed tornado was located 10 miles southwest of Ringgold, or 20 miles northeast of Mansfield, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So I believe Ringgold is in our viewing area. That's in western Bienville Parish. Those folks in the Ringgold community, get into your tornado safe place immediately. We have a confirmed tornado on the ground, dangerous situation. Folks need to be taking shelter immediately.
All right, thanks, Brian. And again, yeah, that's the big takeaway is he's getting kind of a steady stream of information off camera, so we'll be kind of bouncing back and forth. Lexi may be over there at times as well. To kind of drive the point home, this is now an observed tornado, radar-confirmed tornado on the ground that will be entering southwestern sections of Bienville Parish here shortly. In fact, you take a look at the shear button again, and still seeing some very strong twisting of the winds, still seeing that strong twisting of the winds also in the northernmost storm. In fact, Brian, you may want to pull up correlation coefficient on your Links 1 box, and we could take a closer look at that here in just a minute. But to give a bird's eye perspective of this, these are two storms that are really almost derived from the same cluster, which makes this a little bit more convoluted and more complex, especially considering one of these storms is probably going to become dominant at some point. Now, that's not a given, considering that there's a front that's kind of fueling all of this as it moves east. But as you move farther southward, you can see there's our possible tornado. Still some heavy rain back out to the west, but also keep in mind out ahead of the possible tornado, there's pretty heavy rainfall in these areas too. So again, that's the main concern, at least here in the short term, is that any possible tornado or a confirmed tornado that's on the ground would be virtually impossible to see. Brian has a correlation coefficient, which again is kind of a damage signature product, if you will, over on the weather pod. Brian, what do you have for us over there?
Yeah, so let's point this out again. Tornado debris signature just indicates that there's something in the radar that's not supposed to be there. Usually the typical kind of blue, or I would say purple-red colors you see on your screen generally indicate, but the kind of those hotter yellow colors that you're seeing right about here is where that possible, or I should say that tornado debris signature is. There's the Ringgold community, just to point out perspective. So there is the area of concern, the tornado that they're talking about here, wrapped in rain, and our radar kind of showing where that debris is starting to be picked up here. I would not be surprised to see if the next scan, if it showed a little bit more of a pronounced signature here, but it looks like the storm is picking up debris, and this is where it would be, where those hotter colors are on our correlation coefficient. So right about there.
There's actually a refreshed look. You can see the Loggy Bayou Community Crossroads here, Spring Hill Church Road on the right-hand side, Highway 4 is on the northern edge. Again, this is a confirmed radar debris, tornado debris signature. This area right here looks like it may be lofted now, Brian, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's going to be entering western sections of Bienville Parish, and so if you're in these areas, tornado safe place now. Be in your safe place.
Absolutely. If you know folks in the Ringgold community, if they're in the vicinity, they're probably getting the warnings on their phone. Hopefully, if you know them, let them know, hey, a dangerous storm is coming. Remember, get down on the lowest floor of an interior area. Get away from those windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And again, maybe grab a helmet and just, make sure you're getting into your tornado safe precautions.
All right, getting back to what we're currently seeing right now, at least as far as reflectivity goes. Let's go ahead and switch back to links 2, see if we can look at that reflectivity or whatever product is popping up. There you go. Again, like we mentioned before, this is some very, very heavy rainfall. When you start to see those reds and those dark reds and those oranges, definitely a dangerous situation because you're not going to be able to see anything, and you shouldn't really be outdoors trying to look for anything either. You need to be in your safe places like Brian mentioned, whether it's in a closet, in a bathroom, interior room with no windows. Get to the centermost part of your house. Grab all your family and your pets, and of course, maybe grab some pillows and blankets while you're at it. So if you're just now tuning in with us, we have 2 separate tornado warnings. The one that includes far western portions of Bienville Parish that will continue until 5 o'clock, but we did have another one issued not too long after for larger portions of Bienville Parish and portions of Claiborne Parish as well. That will continue until 5:15. So these are the 2 warnings that we have been focused on, and the first 2 tornado warnings we have seen so far for this afternoon. Go ahead and taking a look at some of our radar products here. We'll go and pull up the Shreveport storm relative velocity to kind of take a look at what we're looking at here now. With the rotation, still seeing a little bit of that red and green kind of mixing together on your screen here, zooming in just a little bit. And again, this is just to the west of 371 and Hull Summit. So again, Hull Summit needs to be in their safe place until further notice. You are in the polygon. You can see the storm really beginning to show a little bit more of those colors coming together here. We're talking about this little area right here, the red and the greens that you do see right there. When you start to see those kind of intermingle with one another, that's when you start to see a little bit of a possible rotation. But again, we've had confirmed tornado debris signatures, which again is basically stuff that's not supposed to be in the air, whether it's dust, sand, twigs, tree branches. That's what the National Weather Service in Shreveport has been getting indications of with this storm in this warning as of right now. So again, Hull Summit, folks on 371 need to be either in their safe places or off the roadways and in an interior building until the storm passes. Clicking off of this real quick, we'll go ahead and switch back to the shear product to kind of see how strong these winds are still going. And yeah, they're still looking really, really strong. You can see those light greens and those darker reds indicating very strong winds associated with this storm. So no big surprise that they did issue that tornado warning, especially with shear products like this. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and kind of move up just a little bit so we can take a look at the one that includes Claiborne Parish. Still looking a little impressive right around here. You can see those brighter greens right there. Switching back to storm relative velocity, you can still see a little bit of a bright green area. So that's the area of concern that really kind of prompted that tornado warning for larger portions of Bienville Parish and into Claiborne Parish as well. Go ahead and switching back to reflectivity, you can just see how heavy the rainfall is coming down. You can see Ringgold is associated in those warnings. So again, you need to be inside. Do not go outside and try and look for any kind of rotation. Be in your safe place.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Definitely just what Lexi said. These kinds of storms, they're very, very messy today. It's not one of those typical supercell-like situations that we usually get, or can get at least during this time of year. This is what we call a quasi-linear convective system here, and it's quasi-linear because there's just enough breaks in the line to where you can get these little kinks that can eventually spin up here, and that's what we were seeing at least earlier. But it seems that structure-wise, it's not as defined as far as what we were seeing as snaking as these lines were kind of moving. But nonetheless, these storms are still extremely dangerous as they continue to push a little bit further into our area here. So again, tornado warnings continue. I know at least one of them goes till about 5 o'clock. I believe, does the second one go till 5:15? 5:15. So again, folks, we're going to be continuing to stay on air with you as these storms continue to get closer to the area. Nonetheless, though, dangerous storms and lots of precipitation. So I'm going to flip it back to the shear button here real quick, kind of show where the strongest winds are. Again, just to the south of Bienville Parish especially, that's where some of the stronger winds are at this time. And again, these storms still dangerous. There's the Ringgold community, there's Castor, there's Hall Summit, which I believe they're just out of our area here. But nonetheless, even if a tornado kind of cycles in and out, did have one observed tornado earlier, still at the very least, you're going to have some very strong damaging straight line winds with this. So just the main takeaways are you don't want to be out seeing these storms. All the winds, the rotation, everything involved are generally rain wrapped. So again, this is where the strongest shear will be coming into portions of Bienville Parish here shortly.
Brian, that northern tornado warning is about to be canceled.
Okay, good news there.
That circulation is kind of falling apart.
There it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, so not seeing your tornado debris signature in that northern Red River storm. It's still a very, very strong storm, still a very severe storm. That shear marker that you're seeing is obviously indicative of at least gusty winds, if not a possible tornado. The southern edge of this storm looked a lot healthier than the northern edge. That first spin up, or that second spin up, was a little bit more brief and kind of just an appendage, if you will, of that parent storm to the south.
Yeah, so that's the thing. These storms kind of wobble in and out, and especially the further north, you get kind of more interference with the environment. You get more precipitation that falls, and therefore it kind of interrupts the more better ingredients, I should say, as far as severe weather goes. But again, you can see here, this is our storm relative velocity, and can still see a pretty defined couplet just to the southwest of Ringgold here as it continues to push towards the northeast. We just got another radar scan here, and that looks still pretty pronounced just to the southwest of the Ringgold community here. I'm going to zoom in even a little bit closer here. Still not quite into Bienville Parish, but almost there. It's right on the border. And again, folks, if you're in Ringgold, you need to be taking your tornado precautions immediately. I would also say for folks in the Castor community, you're not officially in the warning, but this is something that you need to be paying attention to.
You will be soon.
Yeah, exactly.
There's probably going to be a new tornado warning issued. With the way that storm's looking right now, there's going to be a new tornado warning issued with it.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for the Weather Service when I say that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one soon.
Right, and it's going to continue to push into the heart of Bienville Parish here in the not-too-distant future, I'd say.
There's your new tornado warning. Bienville and Red River Parishes, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Ringgold, 26 miles south of Mendon, moving east at 40. So it is moving rather quickly as it moves into Bienville Parish. But again, Red River and Bienville, Red River not in our viewing area, Bienville obviously is. There's the new warning box as it pops up on your screen.
All right, and that covers a good chunk of Bienville Parish, too. So.
And also downstream, folks, remember Jonesboro Hodge and Quitman. Jonesboro Hodge, we told you earlier that the storm was maybe going to miss you to the north. You're not in the warning right now, but that could, in theory, kind of dive a little bit to make more of a right turn. So Jonesboro Hodge, Quitman, Ruston all need to keep an eye on this storm.
And yeah, those folks in Jackson Parish, Lincoln Parish, again, just going to kind of zoom out here to show you where exactly Jared was talking about here. And again, that area of rotation continues to push primarily into Bienville Parish, at least at this time. But again, there's some of those downstream communities. There was Jonesboro Hodge right about there to kind of give you some perspective. But there's Ruston, too. So again, folks in Ruston just need to be keeping an eye out on this. Is your call to action at this time that a dangerous storm is approaching your area. But at least in the short term, we're going to zoom in a little bit closer on some of these communities here. And I believe this circulation is going to be passing just to the south of Ringgold. But still, with that being said, you're technically in 2 tornado warnings at this time. So as this area of circulation continues to pass and move into this new warning box, it's still a very, very good idea to be in your tornado safe place. If you know folks in the Ringgold community, I'm going to kind of zoom in. There's the Castor community, area of rotation going right in towards that area. Also have the Lucky community. There's the Bienville community. And I don't know about you guys, but that latest scan just really wrapping it up.
Generally just west of, or just southwest of Woodardville and Tullis. Now, and before we get any farther with this, Tullis, this is Tullis in Bienville Parish. This is not Tullis, Tullos, as you move into central Louisiana. So for folks in Wynn and Grant parishes that hear Tullos and go, oh no, this is a different Tullos. It's Tullis. It's a smaller community in southwestern Bienville Parish. So again, just for the point of clarification and just trying to be as clear as possible, it makes sense of this as it moves through. Again, the tornado warnings, go ahead and turn those back on. The flashing red boxes indicating a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado in this area right here that Brian was just talking about. I want to take some of this gunk off the screen so we can zoom in. Here's Ringgold, and was looking at some of the nearby areas. Here's Parish Road 522. So 522 right here. Here's Highway 4, and there's our possible tornado. Here's Marble Hall Road, Maple Hall Road. It's kind of hard to see some of these. Davis Road here. The Anderson and Castor communities behind me. Here's Tullis and Woodardville, again, Tullis, and Parish Road 522, as I mentioned here. Hall Road here. The Jamestown community in Bienville Parish up here. And again, still seeing some very, very strong reds and greens combined together. And again, for a lot of folks that are looking at this going, well, what does it mean? Well, the reds are winds that are moving away from the radar, and the greens are winds that are moving toward the radar. When you get reds and greens together, some winds are going this way, some are going this way, and obviously somewhere in the middle, they're going to have to kind of join in, and that's where you have the twisting of the winds that could indicate a possible tornado in these areas. Looking back at the shear, which again, it's just an indicator of strong winds, whether it be a possible tornado or wind signature, damaging wind potential. And these are again some very bright, bold colors moving into southwestern sections of Bienville Parish. So again, if you're in these areas, Woodardville, Tullis, moving eastward toward the Anderson communities, be in your safe place, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Newest update carries this even closer to the Tullis and Woodardville areas. Here's again 522. Here's our possible tornado. We'll continue to move east. And I want to zoom out just for a second. And in fact, as I kind of reset my radar here, I believe Brian's over at or Lexi's over at the weather pod, and she can give us some more information about this storm as you take a look at the larger warning box that again includes Bienville, Lucky, and some of these surrounding areas farther east. Lexi, what do you have for us?
Well, nothing too much to report on. We're looking at correlation coefficient, and it's not looking as impressive as what we did see early on when the storm was looking just a little bit stronger. But looking at the National Weather Service, it looks like they have seen a debris signature showing up again with the circulation crossing over Red River in southwest Bienville Parish. So they are still watching that very carefully. So they're going to continue to keep that tornado watch on it. And of course, like we mentioned, this does include like the Ringgold, the Martin, and the Coushatta areas. And it does include Highway 71 and 371 as well. Maybe starting to see a little bit of that. You can zoom in on that little yellow dot on the screen there. Brian's helping me out here. That's probably most likely what they're currently looking at right now. If we can take this full screen for us on System 1, that's the area that they're most likely looking at. It's very small, but you can kind of see there is a little bit of discoloration, which is maybe picking up on something that is not supposed to be in the air. Basically, like we were mentioning before, dust, it could be dirt, it could be twigs, it could be branches. So that's the area that we are watching for the possible debris signature with this potential tornado. Again, it was observed very early on, maybe about 15-20 minutes ago. No word yet if it's still confirmed, but as of right now, we're going to treat it as such, especially since we're having the evidence with the storm relative velocity with those greens and reds kind of mixing together. And not only that, but the fact that they're also picking up on a debris signature from Red River in southwest Bienville Parish.
All right, thanks, Lexi. And if we can go back over to Links 2 real quick, we're going to kind of do a flipperoo here. We're going to switch the hand tracker over to Links 1. So Links 2 will be the one that will be running in the pod. And so control room guys, if you guys, Cody or Brandon, if y'all are hearing me, we're going to kind of, like I said, do a little bit of a switch and bring the hand tracker on for Links 1 and continue the coverage. So again, tornado warning remains in effect for those that are just getting home and are just now getting on the air, grabbing a television or turning it on and finally seeing what's going on in our area. Again, this is an active tornado warning that remains in effect for a good chunk of the central sections of the the western sections of the Arklamis in Bienville Parish, central and western Bienville Parish until 5:30. Are we having something going on with the wall there? That we need to recalibrate or anything like that?
Oh, there we go. It was just fixed.
Okay. All right. Cool. And so we'll get that all squared away. But again, for those that are within this area, you can see the first tornado warning that expired at 5. That was allowed to be trimmed away. Now we just have the one tornado warning for western sections of Bienville Parish into central sections. Again, Castro, Lucky, all included here. The southern edge of this storm, this area right here, is our possible tornado. And again, for some reason, we're having some weird wall issues, if you will, so we'll get to that and kind of get that cured. But again, for those that are watching the storm moving, again, 371 and some of those surrounding areas, obviously interior portion of your home away from windows and doors, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So again, this is your call to action for central sections of Bienville Parish. Please be in your safe place. You've had plenty of lead time. This storm has been developing, has been radar confirmed at times. There's our possible tornado. Now south of Ringgold, here's Highway 371, and that's really the reason that we were able to, that we switched over to the hand tracker, is because we wanted to be able to see these little road icons. For some reason, they're not showing up in our other system, so we just wanted to be able to see those a little bit better so we could identify these roads. Sometimes when you zoom in, you get kind of blinded by everything that's going on. So here's, again, Ridge Road moving into Castor. Here's Highway 4 moving northeast out of Castor. Back out to the southwest, the Woodardville and Tullis communities, Tullis. Again, there is a Tullis, Tullos, much farther south and east from these areas. I don't want you folks to get confused. But again, here is our possible tornado. Now, I would say about 3 miles southeast of Ringgold, or what you would call Ringgold proper, if you will, the actual town itself, not the outlying areas. And we'll move northeast, Bienville, Lucky, Saline, Castor, all areas that could be impacted as this storm moves east. And again, that tornado warning remains in effect until 5:30. So obviously, for those that are just joining us, expecting to see NBC 10 News at 5, we are obviously in the middle of tornado warning coverage for NBC 10 and Fox 14. And this is a day that will likely kind of spread into the evening hours, as long as the severe weather threat is kind of maximizing what we have in the atmosphere. And there are some fairly limited ingredients, all told. One thing that we didn't really have a lot of today was instability in the atmosphere, but with the front moving through, sometimes our atmosphere can do a lot with what we call a high wind shear, low instability environment, and this storm is really kind of an indicator of that. As we zoom out just a little bit, there are no other severe thunderstorm warnings in the area, folks. This is the big parent storm, the strongest of the storms that we've seen move through. You can see other severe thunderstorm warnings down just to the east of Lufkin, and we also have storms moving through El Dorado, and our front is actually positioned right through here. So areas like Columbia and Ouachita counties, I don't want to say you're all clear just yet, but I would expect the severe weather threat to stay pretty low in those areas here in the next few hours, because again, the front's going to advance through those areas rather quickly, and so the severe threat will end from north to south rather quickly as we work into the late night hours tonight. Hopefully, if we can get storms like this to kind of become somewhat contaminated in their environment, and the environment kind of disrupts the air circulation for these storms, if that were to happen, maybe this severe weather threat really kind of wanes over the next few hours and we don't see much. But the way it sits right now, again, it's going to be hard-pressed for a storm that is really thriving in its environment like this one is to just go away. So we're going to have to stay with this, again, now east of the Ringgold community, now east of 371, but we'll continue to move northeastward through Bienville Parish over the next half hour. You can also see Hodge and Jonesboro, so the Jonesboro-Hodge area along 167. Just north of that's Quitman. Just north of that is Ruston. All of you folks, you're not in a warning yet, but you are under a tornado watch, and you're going to need to watch this storm as it moves toward your area. Latest velocity scan kind of tightens that circulation back up just a little bit to the southeast of Ringgold. And I know that we're repeating ourselves, but like I said, a lot of folks are probably just now getting to a TV. They maybe got the warning over their cell phone, and they just want the latest information. So we kind of just rehash the same stuff every 5 to 7 minutes for folks that are just joining us so they can be as informed as you are. Highway 4 and Pleasant Road, this is where our possible tornado is right now. Reds and greens together, indicating that swirling of the winds. And I'll zoom back out just a minute, but just like I said, with every radar swipe, we kind of want to get more specifics on where that possible tornado is. And again, here's our possible tornado. I'm going to circle it for you. It's in this area right here. And if you're to the northeast of it, within the warning, and it's headed your way, so to speak, you're not going to see it. There's blinding rainfall, maybe some small hail. Some of this rain is extremely heavy in these areas, so again, it would be impossible to see a possible tornado if it is developing or it's even moving over your area at this point. So again, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors. If you have friends or family, Ringgold, the Highway 4 area and points east, Jamestown, Anderson, Castor, Lucky, Bienville, make sure you call them, let them know what's going on. You could save a life today by letting folks know a tornado warning is in their area. They may not know about it. So again, make sure that you inform folks that loved ones that may be in the path. As we get a new radar sweep, I'll send things over to Lexi at the Weather Pod and see what information she has for us. Lexi?
Well, just judging by the National Weather Service here, kind of a little bit of update before you just tossed to me. It says they're still watching the circulation that is weakening slightly south of Jamestown in western Bienville Parish, which is basically the one we have been keeping our eyes on over the past several minutes here. So that's really the only concern we have at this time. Again, this is the only warning now that we do have. It's that tornado warning that will continue for at least another 10 minutes or so. It does expire at about 5:15. But you can see on the monitor here, you can see this square polygon. And again, like we were mentioning, Arcadia, Ruston, Jonesboro outside of it. But we'll go ahead and
It goes to
5:30. So about 25 to 30 minutes. So yeah, we'll continue to watch that. So again, Jonesboro, Ruston, Arcadia, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. You are kind of downstream from this system, so no word yet if the circulation will hold out. But if it does, there could most likely be another tornado warning issue. But that's what we're watching very closely. Not to mention too, the reflectivity, very, very heavy. So like we keep saying over and over again, you don't need to be outside. You need to be indoors in your safe place until you're given the all clear. And especially since the heavy rainfall, you're not going to be able to see anything. Brian?
Yeah, that's right, Lexi. And again, folks just need to be taking their tornado precautions, especially if they are in Bienville Parish at this time. Again, tornado warning goes until 5:30 this afternoon. And if you're just joining us now, mainly covering pretty much a good chunk of Bienville Parish here, at least it's looking a little bit messier on our conventional radar that we have at this time. But again, at least where we've been watching is kind of where this area of reflectivity is kind of been curving up here. And again, we'll zoom in a little bit closer, kind of see where it is. But now starting to move closer to the Castor community, and we'll kind of flip it over because we were getting some really, really good eyes on our velocity. This is which radar selected? This is our live storm tracker Doppler radar, right? Or
you what now?
This is our live storm tracker Doppler radar?
Nope, that's the Shreveport.
Shreveport. Okay, so let's take another look at this via our Shreveport radar. This is storm relative velocity here. A little bit more disorganized. I would say slightly, ever so subtly.
Got that northern edge that it may be cycling, to be honest with you.
It's a very, very big possibility, but it's mainly kind of running along the northern ends of this tornado warning here. But again, folks in Bienville Parish, again, if you're receiving these tornado warnings, you need to be in your safe place. Here's the Bienville community, just kind of for reference here, and area of circulation that we're watching, generally skirting the northern ends of this warning. So again, folks, if you're in the Bienville community, you need to be in your tornado safe place. Let folks know if you know folks living in that area. Let them know that, hey, dangerous storm is approaching your area. And again, north of the Castor community, now east of the Ringgold community, so those folks are fine in Ringgold. But again, mainly over rural areas right now as the storm continues to advance towards the east. So there's Jamestown is going right over the Jamestown community at this time.
Again, this is what we talk about with those areas of reds and greens getting very close together. This is our storm relative velocity, so that's why it's picking up on a pocket of changing winds relative to the storm. So again, this is a dangerous circulation here. This is where a possible tornado would be, and those folks need to be getting into their tornado safe place at this time. Again, going to be pushing into mainly rural areas of Bienville Parish, and folks, this area of circulation is rain wrapped. You're not going to be able to see it, even with the sun being up still at this time. So don't try to go take pictures of it. Just make sure you're getting in a tornado safe place. I would say another community that's kind of in the crosshairs of this possible tornado here would be the Sparta community, which is just to the east of Jamestown. Again, if you know folks in that area, they need to be taking shelter and getting into your tornado safe place at this time. So again, this warning goes until about 5:30, and circulation continues to kind of pass here towards the east, and we're watching it here, not as pronounced. With that being said, storms can cycle. They can breathe in and out, and sometimes they can subtly weaken, but they can spin up just as quickly as they weaken. So that's why it's imperative that if you're getting the tornado warnings in Bienville Parish, you need to be getting into your tornado safe place at this time. I know we were kind of referencing the Lucky community. There's Bienville again. These folks are not quite out of the woods yet, considering that the circulation is still on the northern side. Could also be dealing with some damaging winds, though, to the south in the Castor community for the Lucky community. So again, even if you're not experiencing a possible tornado, damaging straight line winds certainly still a possibility with this system. And I'm going to pull up the shear button to kind of show where that is. So again, here's where our shear marker is showing that potential tornado, at least on the northern end. And again, we also have strong winds that are also passing through Castor, and will eventually be getting into the Lucky community. So I'm going to flip it back to our storm relative velocity here, kind of see, because we just got an update. And again, area circulation still present and still quite vibrant, at least on our storm relative velocity product here. And now should be passing just to the east of Jamestown as it continues to advance towards the east. So again, mainly passing over rural areas of Bienville Parish at this time. I'm going to kind of zoom in. There's the Jamestown community just for reference here. And now kind of moving towards the Sparta community. They're kind of the next area that folks need to be watching out for.
Generally northeast of Jamestown, the Kepler Road area. And toward the Sparta community, as you just mentioned, St. Rest Church Road, Madden Mill Creek Road, as you mentioned earlier, relatively rural sections of Bienville Parish. But if you live in the Sparta or just east of the Jamestown communities, you want to be in your safe place.
Absolutely. So again, the time is coming up on about 5:12. A tornado warning continues till about 5:30. And again, it'll be interesting to see if the National Weather Service does issue a downstream warning. But kind of keep in mind, at least this could be our saving grace as the storm continues to push towards the east. We did have quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity earlier this morning. That wasn't severe. It kind of rolled over these areas. So hopeful thinking is that this storm will hopefully move into a less favorable environment. It's something to watch, but as always, we're going to continue to monitor this. It's one of those days. It's April. It's our peak severe weather season. So again, this is the time of year that storms, you know, they could continue to keep going. So we're going to continue to stay on air with you as the storm continues to move towards the east here, but generally still tracking that area of circulation now between Ringgold and Bienville. And kind of as we were saying, this is kind of a perfect example of what we were talking about with cycling, because this latest update really kind of shows a more healthy circulation that is continuing to kind of show up here. So again, it's right on the edge of the tornado warning, at least at this time. So National Weather Service may have to go ahead and issue a new warning on this storm as it continues to pass towards the northeast generally now. But we're watching this. I kind of want to take a farther view out and kind of just let folks know, let's see, some of the other communities. Eventually this will be pushing into portions of Jackson Parish. The storm at least will, and portions of Lincoln Parish. So Again, looks like the circulation will pass generally to the north of Jonesboro Hodge, but I would say folks from roughly about Arcadia to Ruston and points in between, that also includes Simsboro, Grambling. These folks need to be watching the storm. Not under official warning yet, so I don't want to scare people, but this is a storm that's to your southwest, generally moving towards the northeast. This is your call to action that folks in this area between Arcadia and Ruston need to be paying attention to this storm, as certainly it has the potential at least to produce a tornado, and that official warning continues at least for Bienville Parish.
And I might say too, Brian, that circulation does look like it's beginning to, like you said, move northeast and outside of that warning box. So it wouldn't surprise me if the National Weather Service, which I'm still watching to see, if they issue a new warning north of the previous box, just kind of keep that circulation in that polygon.
Yeah, and yeah, because eventually, like she was saying, this is going to be outrunning the warning box here shortly. So looks like it could be getting into northern portions of Bienville Parish and southern or northern portions of Jackson Parish and southern portions of Lincoln Parish. So again, this is plenty of time, folks. Just there's your call to action for areas that are kind of outside of this warning box as this area of rotation continues to pass mainly over rural areas of Bienville Parish. But I'm going to kind of zoom in and just again go over. I know the Sparta community was close to this area of rotation. So folks, if you know people in the Sparta community in Bienville Parish, they need to be in their tornado safe place. New update with this latest storm relative velocity here still shows an area of circulation. You're seeing those reds and those greens pretty close to each other. And as mentioned before, at the very least, there's likely going to be some damaging winds with the storm system. So all the way across western and central portions of Bienville Parish. Remember, damaging winds can be just as bad as tornadic potential. So again, folks need to be getting in your tornado safe place.
Yeah, just a heads up, Brian, from the National Weather Service. They're talking about they may have to issue a new tornado warning if this trend does continue. So until then, we are going to continue to keep an eye on it, but it looks like a new warning could be coming out very soon.
So a recycling storm that is building farther northward.
Exactly, yes.
Yep, because the area of circulation continues to kind of skirt the northern end of this tornado warning here. And I just kind of want to point out, I'll flip back to our shear product here, and still seeing some gusty winds to the south, but at least this area of circulation is our primary concern at this time. And kind of you can see our parish lines a little bit better. And just to give you an idea, there's Arcadia, there's Simsboro, there's Ruston. Again, no official warnings.
New warning is out for
okay.
Bienville, Claiborne, Jackson, and Lincoln and Webster parishes until 6 p.m.
That's going to be a big warning. So, so this warning is going to cover a lot of areas until you said 6 o'clock?
Till 6 o'clock.
Okay, so clearly the warning and the storm itself, as Brian and Lexi have been talking about, has kind of refocused its center, and instead of it being in this southernmost warning box, which we still have some areas that could produce a possible tornado in those areas, but really the storm has kind of refocused and shifted farther northward. The core of this storm, the parent updraft of this storm, has moved northward. So we've kind of seen this for the last 30 to 45 minutes since we joined you shortly before 4:30, where the storm has turned a little bit, then it moves. It's because it's moving along this front, and it has southwesterly and southerly winds at the surface, feeding that warm, moisture-rich atmosphere into it, but it's also kind of bending and flexing with the environment. So at some points it's moving almost due east, and now it's kind of the possible tornado has shifted a little bit farther to the north and east, or at least the storm motion is. So here's our possible tornado, and again, as you take a look at the shear and the flashing red boxes, Gibbsland, Arcadia, Simsboro, Grambling. Is Ruston technically in this warning? It doesn't look like it.
I think they're right on the edge. I would say Ruston, just get to your safe places anyway.
Might as well. That's a good call. So, again, Ruston, you're close enough. This will include, I believe, Quitman. This will likely, it does not include Jonesboro Hodge. So, again, Jonesboro Hodge, we told you you were probably okay from this storm. Then we told you to keep an eye on this storm. And now it looks like you're still going to see some gusty winds from this storm, but the possible tornado has, again, kind of shifted a little bit farther north of your area. And this is the kind of day we're running into where storms are just kind of do whatever they would like to do, and we just have to kind of move and shake with them, and kind of as they change and evolve, we'll have to change and evolve with them. So for folks in central and western sections of Bienville Parish, Bienville, Arcadia, Gibbsland, as the thunder starts to rumble here at the West Monroe Studios. Non-severe storms, mind you, in Ouachita Parish, at least for the time being. Here's our possible tornado and the new warning that's been extended now until 6 o'clock. If need be, if this warning does remain in effect till 6, then NBC Nightly News will not be seen. Fox 14 News at 5:30 will be just what you're seeing right now, just kind of a programming note of that nature. But again, Ruston, Shudrint, you're technically probably not in this tornado warning, but Grambling, you are. Grambling's 5 miles west of Ruston, so at Ruston, you're close enough. You're in the proximity. You need to keep an eye on this as it moves to the north and east. Don't want to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on this storm relative velocity. As I've mentioned before, a lot of folks kind of get lost on this. I do want to switch over to our live radar, which also picks up the reds and greens combined together there. We are a little bit more elevated from our radar site, so we don't have quite the vantage point that the National Weather Service and Shreveport's radar has in this particular area, but clearly a dangerous storm that is going to require these folks being in their a safe place, interior portion of your home, away from windows and doors. This is a rain-wrapped potential tornado that's moving into these areas. Virtually impossible to see. In fact, you're going to see a lot of heavy rain at the onset. For folks in Arcadia and Simsboro, you're probably hearing some thunder in the distance. You're probably already getting some periods of heavier downpours along the I-20 corridor. If you know somebody that's traveling, say, from Ruston to Shreveport, and they're kind of halfway through their journey, you may want to call them and let them know. Just tell them to pull off the interstate, wait for this storm to pass. Find a convenience store, a gas station, a grocery store, any place that's open. It's better than being in your car. So, like I said, find any kind of building that will let you in and let you hang out for just 30 to 45 minutes. Until this storm can pass these areas. Like I said, don't want to be on I-20, blinding rainfall along I-20, and conditions are going to get worse from Gibbsland to Arcadia as this storm starts to move across I-20 and moves towards Simsboro, Grambling, and toward Ruston here in the next, like I said, 30 to 45 minutes. This warning goes until 6. So for those that don't really follow a lot of what that really means, that means basically the National Weather Service is expecting this storm to be somewhere in this general area at around 6 o'clock, somewhere from here to here. So again, from here to here, you've got about 30 minutes lead time before this storm starts to impact your area, and you don't want to wait. The rotation in that area has, again, looked somewhat more elevated and lofted, and not as discernible on our radar screen in the last hour, and that's sometimes just kind of a feedback radar issue. So we'll switch over to the shear, which sometimes a better indicator. Yeah, still seeing the shear there, but not as discernible and as evident as it was, say, 30 minutes ago as the storm was moving through. So again, active tornado warning till 6 o'clock for the areas you see in red. That includes inside this red box. That includes the southwestern sections of Lincoln Parish, far northwestern sections of Jackson Parish, northern portions of Bienville Parish, and far southeastern Claiborne Parish. It does include parts of Webster and Red River parishes as well. Those are technically outside of our viewing area, so that's why we don't normally name those. And again, even behind it along that front, storms moving through Shreveport are also looking rather vigorous as they start interacting with the front itself. So again, this is an evolving scenario. I can't really tell you how these storms will evolve as we go through the night, because we have had that early round of showers and storms that kind of contaminated the atmosphere, disrupted a lot of things. So it'll be interesting, and that's a terrible word to use tonight when folks are under the threat for severe weather, but it will be interesting to see how everything kind of pans out. We are getting some reports, some trees down in the Rum Center area on Tucker Store Road. That's in Union Parish near Spearsville. That's from just a non-severe thunderstorm that moved through those areas. But the winds, even with the non-severe stuff, is up to 30 and 40 miles an hour, which could uproot trees in those areas. So again, already getting some other minor damage reports, somewhat minor damage reports in some of the areas.
And that just goes to show that, you know, despite not having a severe thunderstorm warning, you know, winds can still be damaging, whether it's a regular thunderstorm or or if it's a severe thunderstorm warned storm. So it just kind of shows you know really what nature can do. So again, it doesn't really matter. Anytime there's thunderstorms, you just need to stay indoors just in case. So again, this is our current warning that we have our eyes on. If you're just now joining with us, this continues until about 6 p.m. and it does include areas like Grambling. We're going to say Ruston is included, and if Ruston is included, we'll go ahead and throw Louisiana Tech in there as well. But this is a storm that we have been watching for at least the last hour or so that started off towards western portions of Bienville Parish and then kind of cycled and then fell apart and cycled again and then fell apart. Go ahead, Jared.
Our general manager, Randy Stone, says that he's getting reports that the tornado sirens are going off in Ruston.
Okay.
And rightly so. So whether or not you're in the tornado warning in Ruston, be in your safe place.
Yes.
You know, that is the kind of the heads-up alert for folks in central Lincoln Parish, Ruston and Grambling, even surrounding areas that possible tornadic thunderstorms headed your way.
Yeah, I would say it's not even looking too impressive anymore, but granted, you're still under the tornado warning, so please stay in your safe spots. This includes Bienville, Arcadia, Simsboro, Grambling. Again, we're throwing Ruston into the mix, and if Ruston's in the mix, we'll go ahead and put Louisiana Tech into the warning
State University as well. So.
Yes, definitely. Looking up the shear real quick, still looking like it's relatively strong. And like we mentioned, too, even if there is no potential tornado or radar indicated tornado, winds can also be a big danger when it comes to strong storms like this. So that's what we're watching. Here's a quick refresher of the radar here. We still see some pockets of shear, some of it just to the west of Bienville and just to the sound of Gibbsland. Arcadia is not in there just yet, but again, you are in the polygon. Switching back to storm relative velocity real quick. Again, we're still seeing some slight signs of it, but not seeing as much red and greens as what we did see before. That's most likely the area of interest that the National Weather Service is paying attention to. And this is the area that, if you're just now tuning in, with our previous warning back in Bienville Parish, it started to move more up towards the northeast and outside of the warning box. So this new warning did get issued just to the north of the previous warning that got canceled just about 5 minutes ago. So again, this will continue until about 6 p.m. So we'll continue to kind of stay on the air and kind of talk you through it until the warning does expire, unless it gets canceled early. But switching back to reflectivity, again, very heavy rainfall stretching across the storm system. You can see all those reds indicating that very heavy rainfall. So again, this safe. So again, we'll continue to keep our eyes on that. You can see that heavier rainfall indicating some visibility issues, I guess you could say, with this storm system. Switching back to velocity, go ahead, Jared.
Lexi, definitely not the structurally sound storm that it was a half hour ago.
I agree.
I'm not going to say it's collapsing, but it is nowhere near as organized as it was when the warning was issued 10 to 15 minutes ago.
And also, this is a system that's been kind of cycling a little bit back and forth. So still an area of interest because, like we mentioned, it has had some periods of kind of strengthening. Again, it has had weakening, and then strengthening, and then weakening. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on it as long as the warning is still in place, if you're just tuning in with us. Again, this tornado warning goes until 6 p.m. It does include areas like Bienville, Arcadia, Simsboro, Grambling is included in that, and we're going to go ahead and include Ruston and Louisiana Tech as well. Vienna is just outside, but if the storm continues downwind, you guys need to be preparing to get into your safe places. It's also just to the north of Hodge, so Hodge is in the clear, Ringgold's in the clear, and Heflin, I would also say, is still in the polygon. Even though the storm is way off towards your east and northeast here, I would say just stay in your safe places until now. And like Jared was mentioning, our general manager said that he did hear tornado sirens, so if you're not in your safe places already, hopefully the tornado sirens are kind of getting your attention so you can get to your safe place. Switching back to shear, let's take a look at what we're currently seeing right now. Again, not as impressive as Jared was saying. There is still some indications of some strong winds associated with this storm, but not looking as impressive when we had some of those brighter greens and darker reds indicating some stronger wind changes as you go up in the atmosphere, as what we did see when the storm system was in just western portions of Bienville Parish.
Lexi, just kind of piggybacking off of what you were just talking about and kind of switching from different radar modes to different radar modes. Actually, I'm going to zoom out on Lynx 2 for just a second and kind of give us a bird's eye view of what we're running into across much of the western sections of Louisiana. And in fact, a lot of what we're running into right now currently, if y'all want to pop me up in the pod, and this is what the overall makeup is. And we still start seeing this cold front advancing through, and you can already have severe thunderstorm warnings in East Texas. This is toward the Lufkin area. There's our tornado warning, and then we have other storms. Here's our front right through this general area, and you can already see additional storms popping up just east of Shreveport. Anybody back to the northwest, front's already advanced through your area, and overall the severe weather threat remains low, if not zero, for a lot of these areas immediately behind the front. But if you're along that last line from Shreveport to El Dorado back to the southwest, this front's going to continue to move south and east over the next few hours. And so if you're in those areas, it's clear that the tornado threat will persist. The one piece of good news, it looks like the tornado warning is about to be canceled for Bienville Parish, which would leave us with no warnings as we go into the bottom of the 5:30 hour. If that were to pan out and continue, then we would be able to send our NBC viewers to NBC Nightly News, and we would be able to resume Fox 14 News at 5:30 and get you some of your top stories of the day. Germany Kent and Kyla Scott are right beside me in the beside the desk. And so if we can get to that, we hopefully will, but it really just depends on what this storm does. And also, on that note, you look back into southwestern sections of Bienville Parish, and Lexi may be able to pull this up on one from the wall a little bit better, but southwestern sections of Bienville Parish, there's another area that's starting to kind of rotate. So while we may get one tornado warning that gets canceled, we may actually turn around and get another tornado warning right behind it as these storms start kind of feeding off in that broken line nature and moving east. Lexi, you may be able to see that on Lynx 1 a little bit better, so I'll send it over back to you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look to what Jared was talking about. Oh, looks like they did just cancel that warning. That tornado warning. But again, this is still an area that we're going to continue to watch. I'm going to switch over to storm relative velocity real quick to see kind of what we're seeing here. Not looking too impressive, but again, this specific cluster of storms has had a history of showing indications of rotation, whether it's weakening or cycling back and forth. So we'll continue to watch that very closely. But again, the tornado warning looks like has been canceled. It was supposed to go until 6 p.m., but for now it has been canceled.
All right, that's good news. And like I said, the southwestern sections of Bienville Parish, we'll have to keep an eye on how things evolve with. It's this area right here we're looking at. And again, it's that Castor, Ringgold area all over again. And there is not a lot of rotation there, but obviously a storm that will bear watching. And now that the warnings have popped up off the map, it looks a lot more menacing without those big red flashing boxes popping up on screen. So again, it's this area right here. If a warning's issued, we'll obviously resume our severe weather coverage. We will jump back into NBC Nightly News. But the plan is now to go ahead and send our NBC Nightly News our viewers back to their regularly scheduled programming so you can get some of the national headlines of the day. Our production crew will be sending you back very, very shortly. For our Facebook Live viewers, the Facebook Live.
It was excessive speed that nearly killed Tiger Woods. Investigators say the golfing great was traveling between